So, Patrick, I want to start off today with a bit of an apology.
Okay.
I know you were looking forward to talking about the English version of William Shatner, Sir Roger Moore.
Yes. Yeah. I've long felt that they were twins separated at birth,
but
many years apart.
I firmly feel that we need to branch out and do somebody who is not a knighted British actor. So today we will be
someone equally as respected.
I would say that I respect Seann William Scott more than
Sir Seann William Scott.
If he hasn't been knighted yet, damn it, he will be.
He's knighted in my heart, if nothing else.
The knight of my heart.
Anyways, welcome to TBD podcast. I'm Etienne Thibault, and with me, as always, is Patrick Humphrey.
Hey.
And we have our first guest, Andrew. Would you?
Greetings.
Andrew is a wonderful man, and been friends for a couple of years, and he is also one of the most avid film buffs that I know. So,
Patrick hasn't killed me in my sleep yet. So
yeah, no.
Are you saying he's an avid film buff because he's buff and he was an avid as a high schooler? Or?
I do know what avid is.
I'm actually unfamiliar. I'm on the short bus
it's
on that.
Like one of the like college prep things, like you want to be ahead of the wave and like learn about like college entrance preparation things. I was never an avid, so I could be misrepresenting it completely. Anyways. Andrew, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
You are officially our first guest, so you will go down in the annals of TBD history.
Yes.
And, when TBD is the final form representing mankind in the galactic space war.
When
it's
they're
always
looking...
good to be in the annals. Annals.
The annals of all of our dozen listeners.
Wow, you have that many?
Yeah, something like that.
Don't sell it short.
I think technically we have like 14 subscribers or something like that.
Anyways, Seann William Scott.
Who, I do have to say, I've never fucking seen Sean spelled with two N's. And I was a little bit like, going in, I was a little bit like, alright, that's unique. I wonder if it was just him trying to like get around SAG regs or...
I'd wager it's probably the most pretentious thing about him is the fact that his name is spelled with two N's.
Yeah, it's probably a stage name. Like, and couldn't think of anything better. Two N's.
I'll add an extra N. Now I'm somebody completely different.
My name is Seann Scott. That's taken. Oh.
My name is Bon Scott.
That's taken. Damn it. Name is Sean with two N's. It's real. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please leave the building.
Well,
sir.
I think when you're born in Minnesota, there's only so many options that you have in life. So adding that extra N and becoming an actor is a favorable one.
In Minnesota, that would have been like high points for creativity.
Yeah.
Every test A for effort just because of that extra N.
Aw, yeah. I just add random letters to words and the teachers call me creative.
Anyways, you were saying you hadn't fully delved into the world that is Seann William Scott.
No, my primary exposure to him was The Rundown, which I saw 3 or 4 years ago, and absolutely loved the crap out of him, and I watched it 3 or 4 times since, including approximately 1 hour ago. Yeah, beyond that, I hadn't really seen him. I'd never seen the American Pie movies, so it wasn't something I'd ever gotten that exposure to him. I've seen him in like bit roles and a couple of things other than that, but I couldn't think of any offhand. So yeah, I just marathoned a whole bunch. I dived directly into the deep end of Seann William Scott. And
not many people would admit to saying.
All the way inside of Seann William
I think
Scott.
there are plenty of people who would love to say that and love to be. He is a handsome man at the end of the day.
Not my type. not my type.
And I'm not gay, but I'm just saying, he's put together.
Well, he's a good-looking man. I'm not.
Maybe go back to like American Wedding, Seann William Scott, and like I'd maybe have his poster on my bedroom door. But
okay.
He did look very good in that, though they seem to be trying to, like, aggressively reduce his age. I only made it through about the first 15 minutes of American Wedding before I was forced to terminate the experience for my own sanity. But he's an interesting actor. He basically plays Seann William Scott, as far as I can tell.
He does. I mean, I think the one departure from that is The Goon, which I'm glad that you saw.
Yeah, I liked The Goon.
But definitely his breakout role was American Pie as Steve Stifler. And then he's kind of been playing that same character ever since. Definitely one of those typecast things. Like, hey, you know, generic sex-crazed party douchebag.
Yeah.
Gained some momentum. I mean, I think actors fall into two camps, and you have people like, I don't know, Johnny Depp, who switch over into a million different types of shade, and then you have people like Leonardo DiCaprio, who play Leonardo DiCaprio in, like, The Great Gatsby, or you know.
You're right. It depends on which Tim Burton
Inception.
film Johnny Depp is in this week.
Well, no, I actually 100% agree. I had an acting teacher who said almost exactly the same thing. You have either the actors who play themselves, and his example was Julia Roberts, or you have the actors who
She's
are
America's sweetheart, Patrick.
It doesn't mean
bad
that
mouthing
she...
Julia Roberts.
I'm not saying anything bad about her. I might very well like Julia Roberts.
So she looks
if I'd
like
ever
a
seen
frog
her in a
right
film.
now.
And she, exactly. She may have been America's sweetheart like 20 years ago, but I mean
Aaron Brockovich, you know, Mona Lisa Smile, was that? I've never seen Julia Roberts in a movie. I'll put it out there.
Have you not seen any of the Ocean's movies?
No, I did see the first Ocean's movie.
Okay.
That's right, she was in that.
Yeah.
Playing...
And the second.
I mean, I didn't see the second.
And the third.
And the third.
I didn't see...
And Ocean's 27.
There's no chance that I was going to go out of my way to see either of those affairs, though I might see them while drunk. So that's a possibility.
I did, and I don't wholly regret my time.
Okay.
But anyways, you mentioned that you had problems with American Wedding. I'm curious to hear what they are, because I think going back and watching American Pie, either the combination of the writing or the acting got better with time. American Pie at its core definitely had, you know, it had the heart. But,
which essentially is what separates it from, like, you know, a derivative 80s sex comedy. I mean,
yes.
Or any sex comedy for that matter. I mean, you have heart, then you have a reason to rewatch it. You have a reason to care about these characters.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a heart to it, and again, having not seen American Pie before, wasn't a big fan of American Pie, but I again am not a big fan of, like, high school movies.
Yes.
And that's precisely what it fucking is. So, like, that was a prejudice on my part going into it that I have to admit up front. But I did find the kernels of truth in all of the characters really, really nice. Like, I thought that, yes, it had heart, and in addition to that, it had honestly really realistic characters of people who I've met who felt very, very close to what they portrayed in the film. Though I was a little bit bothered by the level of cartoonishness with any time that there was something going on. The physical comedy was that kind of, like, amped up 90s, like, whoa, gotta be over the top with it, whoa! Which, you know, wasn't a bad thing. But that was actually when I finally turned off American Wedding, I was like, alright, that is, the dog is now licking Stifler's dick.
I thought it was that scene that had set you off.
Well, it was literally just like, okay, this character who's a minor sideline, who's a joke in the first fucking film, is obviously become some kind of a fan favorite. I didn't see American Pie 2. I literally went from American Pie to American Wedding. And is obviously some kind of a fan favorite. So they, like, he's just injected into the film, and it's obviously like, oh shit, here comes Strickler, whatever, I fucking know. Stifler.
Strickland propane.
Not inaccurate. And that really bothered me, because I was just like, okay, so now you've injected the crazy into the storyline. Whoops. Oh, look at that cake. It's on his penis. And I was kind of like...
Where's the conflict? Him.
Yeah, it was legitimately... And I was kind of like, okay, well, this whole movie is going to be that, and I don't want to do that. Because, like, he caused, like, a third of the fucking conflict in the first film, too. Like,
he's definitely the
like,
instigator. And I mean, had you watched past the 15 minutes, you see how his character kind of is redeemed, and you know they try and create some type of reasonable life for Stifler.
They do.
You miss January Jones.
Okay, that's unfortunate because I do enjoy January Jones.
And you miss cameos by the two other original cast members that were in the first one.
Yeah, which was something else that seemed to bother me. Was I was like, okay, where's friend number 4? And these other two guys are barely
He's not even in it, and there's a joke in American Reunion of like, oh yeah, I missed the last one. Yeah. I wouldn't miss this one. It was just like, god damn it.
And I really like, how big of an ego must Chris Klein have for turning down American Wedding? Like, what else was he doing?
Yeah, you know, take the paycheck. Take the paycheck.
See, I didn't even know his name before you'd uttered it. So
yeah, like... I have no idea. I don't know that motherfucker from Adam.
I mean, have you guys seen Election? With,
no.
Reese Witherspoon and Matthew Broderick?
No, I heard about it and heard it was decent. But
that's probably the best thing I've seen Chris Klein in. Other than that, it's like derivative romantic comedies or... but anyways, it was kind of like this really strange thing when he decided not to do it. I'm not even sure why, but...
I've been pigeonholed.
I mean...
No, again, if anybody was pigeonholed from those fucking movies, it was Seann William Scott.
Yeah. You know, they all... I mean, I don't know. I did actually enjoy, just as a random weird sideline, was watching American Pie in the beginning of American Wedding, and then immediately afterwards watching The Goon, and having Eugene Levy be both Seann William Scott's father in The Goon and the father... Yeah! And literally, like, scene 2, you see the dad, and I was like, It's just Eugene Levy.
I think it's like one of those things where it's like, we need a funny Jew. Get this guy. He's old enough to be a dad.
Yeah. I don't know. I liked a lot of things about American Pie. I disliked a lot of things about American Pie. Their vocal jazz ensemble is crap. That's not real vocal jazz ensemble. God damn it. They're doing show tunes and light pop. It's not motherfucking Glee. Sorry. I had to put that out there because that made me mad throughout.
It's fine. It's definitely not something that I have a gripe with because it's not a world that I'm involved in or care too much about.
No,
not that I don't respect any kind of vocal
jazz,
but
just say that you don't care.
That's what I was building to. Thank you. I'll just, anytime that I'm anytime that I'm talking, I will stop halfway through, and you can just like, all right. To summarize, Etienne's a jack off. What he means is,
to summarize, he hates you.
Not just a jack off.
He doesn't like you.
I don't like you either. I've used that so many times in the last month. I don't know if I'm just excited for episode 7 or what it is.
Oh my god!
I mean, like,
and this just became a Star Wars podcast.
We should have a new introduction to a totally different podcast.
Hi, everybody! Changing course midway through the stream.
Or we could just theorize what Star Wars would be like with Seann William Scott.
Okay, young Han Solo.
No. Think how much better Saga would have been if you would have replaced Jar Jar Binks with Seann William Scott.
I mean, the beatdowns would have been a lot less cartoony, and I would have enjoyed them more. Like, if it was just like...
I just imagine somebody's stoner laughs instead of, like, retarded racism. I'm not sure which is worse.
I mean, unfortunately. But, I mean, we were discussing who they're going to have play young Han Solo. I mean...
And we've got our answer.
Can you think of anyone better than Seann William Scott?
I mean, he's basically on par with Harrison Ford anyways.
Oh, God. We're sorry, Harrison. We don't mean it. We really don't. You're a beautiful man.
Expressed in this podcast. I'm not associated with the individual Andrew.
But it's actually funny because I've avoided getting on any hype trains on any of like the big things that have been coming out recently.
No, the train went through the house when I showed him the trailer.
It did, yeah. Like he saw me, like I got giddy. I was like bouncing, like I couldn't control myself, and I'm actually on that fucking hype train, and I'm not. I mean, I'm on the train. It's a foregone conclusion. I can't really speculate on whether or not it's a good idea to be on it, but oh man.
It's one of those things that I always have to watch myself with, too, because, like, if I build up the hype too much, the movie will suck. Even if it's a great movie, if I have too much hype for it, I'm just going to be like, oh, man.
And that's...
Which is exactly what J.J. Abrams had said prior to even taking the job, I think. He was just like, it's going to not meet people's expectations, even before the first trailers.
It's at least following Saga, and Saga sucked. For the most part.
Saga?
The first 3.
Oh, yeah. Well, and those were, again, like such a... People went in with such a high expectation, and those were actually pieces of crap, so that, was...
But I mean, it's like pieces of crap... Or, I'm sorry, it's like a big piece of crap with, like, good things in it. So, like, you see the corn, and you see the peas... It's just like, oh, that could have been so good. I mean, I was looking
If only this was a shepherd's pie, not a log of shit.
That's perfectly put.
I can actually see that on the re-release.
Just the tagline.
We swear, it's a shepherd's pie. It is this time. No, but I mean... It's why I don't let myself get hyped up about anything that I would normally be excited about in terms of like film adaptations and that crap, because every time that I do, I just walk away horribly disappointed. I'm such a picky piece of shit.
Okay, I'm going to have to interject with this point.
Alright!
Patrick, shut the fuck up.
First off, it's so hard to talk about somebody who has an OCD that is just God, you're like a coroner, or you're performing an autopsy when you watch a movie or something. It's like,
Berkey Burns.
Wait a minute, that extra was not wearing that same hat 2 seconds ago. The movie is shit. This world is shit. This world is bullshit. I'm out.
I'm sorry. You've had to deal with that quite a few. When we did the Bond marathon, and we got to the end, and I was like, "Damn it, the guards couldn't physically have reached the end of the tunnel." And you're like, "It doesn't matter."
There's something called suspension of disbelief.
God damn it! I already suspended my disbelief.
Was like either had it removed or was born without it, but. If things aren't 100% realistic or logical...
Damn it, a chokehold cuts off the blood flow to the brain in 10 seconds and you lose consciousness. That chokehold lasted for at least 17.
Anyways, the main reason that I refer to the original 3 as Saga, I don't know if that's their proper name, but it's a reference from Clerks 2, which, funnily enough, another Kevin Smith film, Mallrats, was filmed near where... Seann William Scott was living at the time, and it's the reason that he wanted to work with Kevin Smith and took the minor role in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Nice.
Wow.
That's super cool.
I mean, really, who's banging down Kevin Smith's door right now, though?
Well, after Tusk. After Tusk.
Oh my gosh. Did you see Tusk?
Yes, I sat through Tusk.
I ranted and raved to him 100 times about how disappointed I was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love Kevin Smith films. Like, I've seen every Kevin Smith film, and like that one was the one that like literally like there are like maybe 2 or 3 redeeming qualities about the film, but really, everything else is a steaming piece of shit.
No,
Guy Lapointe was cool, and then that was the only part I really enjoyed.
I came away with like Michael Parks, who was the guy who played the villain in it, who was also in Red State. I came away being like, he is an actual good actor. Like, the script is shit, but he was actually able to take his role seriously, and I think his performance came through. It was more the writing, directing that I disliked.
Well, again, it's one of those, like, negative things that happens with us. Like, making movies on a smaller budget and then having more creative control. Like, this is what you get sometimes when you create something entirely and you don't have a lot of people. Maybe there just wasn't enough people who cared enough, or just like expected Smith to do it all himself.
Or had someone standing over his shoulder being like, "That's really fucking dumb, dog. Don't
Which
do
is,
that."
I think, exactly what he needed. And I mean,
what a lot of people need.
When you're working within the limitations, I mean, you go back to the first Clerks. I mean, I think part of the reason why it was so great is A, because he had people over his shoulder saying, "No, don't do the ending that you originally want to do where you fucking kill Dante. That's a stupid idea." And B, because there was so much shit with the budget being so limiting that the things that they could do were so select that they did them and they did them well.
Like, a lot of the... It's a weird tie back, but similar thing with a lot of the things that they did on, like, Halloween, where you had, like, these, like, wonderful tensions that ended up being built in the film because they didn't have the money to do, like, crazy...
Well, I mean, that kind of falls into a different category because Carpenter was a far more advanced filmmaker, I think, than Smith was at the time when he made his first film.
Yes. No. I'm 100% agreement.
And he even argued for more creative control because that was done in such a small... I mean, and everybody knows Halloween, especially being here in Pasadena.
Yes.
Being so close to South Pass where it was filmed.
As we had the other night when we were watching that. And it's like, that's the Radical.
That's really... That's where the train station's going to... Anyways.
I've never actually seen Halloween.
Oh. Really? Oh, man.
You let this man in our house?
I know. I'm sorry. I will take the punishment for him. This is on me, not on him.
It's on for free.
He knows not.
Don't you live in South Pasadena?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God.
That doesn't mean encyclopedically I know every film that's been...
And that would be virtually impossible.
The house is right across from Mixon Munch. Like, it's right.
So, you know how many things are filmed near the antique mall area, which is where that is?
I know.
Or like by the fucking Gold Line. I was watching Step Brothers and I was like, that's the fucking South Pass Gold Line area. I mean, I know some of it. It's not fucking encyclopedic knowledge. I mean, come on, get up and back.
I mean, I will say Halloween is somewhat of a seminal horror masterpiece.
The other thing is I don't watch horror films generally.
Okay, that makes sense. Which, I originally saw Halloween because of AMC back in the day, and was like, I should watch this. And was like, wow, that's actually, I mean, specific actors' performances aside. The cop, like, oh yeah, well, what will you do when you find him, doctor? Well, Donald Pleasance is desperately trying to knock it out of the park, and does.
Well, yeah.
Like,
I mean, he essentially built his later career out of a string of sequels.
Well, at least in America, he still had a lot of roles in England.
But, like in films, or
film and television. Which was actually one of the things about Halloween was that he was like a huge, big name in England. So when they got him for the movie, they paid him like a fraction of what he was normally being paid. And there was the whole thing about all the actors had to help like hump lights around, and they got like 50-year-old Donald Pleasance, who was like a B-list star, to like carry lights for them, which was, I thought, really cool.
Is that your phone?
No. I have no idea what that is.
That's rude.
It's the bees. They're inside the house. No, not the bees.
Not the bees. That's what we should do sometime. Compare the new Wicker Man and the old Wicker Man.
I thought you just meant like let's Ludovico technique ourselves and watch 60 hours of Nicolas Cage films.
Man. I watched, God, what was it? Some horrible, miserable one where he was like a super thief and he ended up getting out of the game after he crippled one of his ex-partners because his ex-partner shot a cop and he doesn't kill people on his robberies.
Is this a new one, or?
No, it was from like 2002. It was in New Orleans. It was literally
my God,
just...
you're talking about the one with Ava Mendes,
it's just, I want my family back, just with Nick Cage and some motherfucking...
I wanted to see that one. Was it like Port of Call, New Orleans, or... I don't remember.
It was something... It was not well put together, unfortunately.
That was done by, what's his name, the mockumentary filmmaker. Gosh.
What?
I don't know.
I just randomly saw this on an off
thing. He did Cave of Forgotten Dreams. He did, like, The Search for Loch Ness. He's like... what the hell is his name? Oh, it's going to drive me nuts.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the guy.
I just remember because it was like his first film that was not like a mockumentary about... I'll think of it later.
It kind of makes sense because there's like ridiculous weird comedy things that happen in this like intense action thriller where I was like, that's really out of place. Like there really shouldn't be like a joke about the bad guy having a bum leg and like hobbling right here. In like the middle of the climactic moment.
You just gotta liven the mood at any given point, Patrick. It doesn't matter.
I mean, come on. Even though this is a drama, it does not mean there can't also be the laughs. Throw some pies, for God's sake.
Exactly. I mean, I think if more films were built on that idea, we'd have more box office hits. I mean, it's simple science, really.
Simple math.
Math.
Though, I feel that we have flown somewhat far afield.
Yeah,
yes,
what were we talking about?
Seann William Scott.
Right.
But what we talked about probably 5 minutes ago now. Small budget films.
Yes.
He talked about working on The Goon, which I don't even know if it got a theater release.
I think it was a limited theatrical one.
I mostly know of
That
it
make a lot of sense.
because of what it's done since on Netflix and other streaming services.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. But Seann William Scott was talking about like doing the choreography for the fights, and like the only time that they could get in to like use the ice rinks was at like 3 a.m. So they were doing these fight scenes on ice on skates at 3 a.m. in the goddamn morning, and they couldn't cut in between shots because they were on skates. So it was all like one take. All right, let's get it, guys.
Jesus.
And like he talked about that versus like, you know, other films where like, you know, the fight scene choreography is like done like months ahead of time, and like you can get this shot, cut. All right, we're gonna move to the next thing, which I think is probably something he picked up from Bulletproof Monk.
Well, that and Rundown, both perfect examples of that. I tried to hit both of his action offerings.
But I mean, The End of the World, starring Chow Yun Fat.
Boulevard Monk.
Bulletproof Monk. But you know, he is a street rascal running down the boulevard, jacking people's chains.
Hey! That was the first time for me too. Everything today was a first time for me, other than Rundown.
It's not a great film by any means, but I enjoyed it.
Really. Please name the great Seann William Scotts of Days of Yore.
I mean, I'll call the Rundown pretty fucking great.
I
mean,
I
it's
enjoy
not
the
a
Rundown.
great film,
I absolutely
but it
love
is what it
Role
wants to
Models.
be. Role Models.
Oh, that was
surprised me.
I did like that.
Yeah, Role Models was good.
And I mean, if we're talking about minor roles, I mean, I love Old School. He's in that for about a minute and a half.
Haven't seen Old School. Again, I'm not a big college and high school movies. They're not really my jam.
It's not really a...
It's more like a sad old man movie.
This is not...
I see why you love it.
This is not Gran Torino, okay? It's fucking Old School. There's a difference.
Damn it, there's always a grand jury.
Don't cry for me. I'm already dead.
It's like a bunch of 30-year-old guys forming a frat. That's Old School.
Okay.
It's
I get it's a
yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
It's really, okay. I never. Okay. I'm
but
sorry.
It's got Vince Vaughn, Luke Wilson, Will Ferrell, a bunch of random ass people. It's got fucking...
Talk about another actor, Vince Vaughn, who's been playing himself since Swingers.
Yeah. Which I think people have kind of like... It's finally worn thin a bit.
And that's why he's not getting many roles.
Well, yeah, he did that movie earlier this year that looked like absolute fucking garbage. The one where the business trip where they go to Europe and they have like Dave Franco with them and laughs. It looked off. I don't even remember the
last one I remember was when him and the Nose. I'm sorry, Owen Wilson.
In the Nose, Wedding
when
Crashers.
They were in the Google company.
The Internship.
There you go.
Oh. I know, the last thing that I saw Vince Vaughn in...
And there goes the helicopter looking for Vince Vaughn's career.
Lost somewhere in the wilds of North Pasadena, Vince Vaughn wanders.
And also Toby.
Oh, God, you found the dog. The last thing I saw Vince Vaughn in, I think, was either... No, I think it was Wedding Crashers. When I saw Wedding Crashers in the theaters.
Saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
I had no friends. I was alone.
I liked Wedding Crashers.
I enjoyed the crap out of Wedding Crashers. I haven't rewatched it since then, but I definitely.
That one actually does have some heart. I will say.
Yes. Definitely a lot of other things, but it has some heart.
Oh man, the Christopher Walken scenes are some of the best.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, when he's like strapped to the bed and he's giving him this like. I don't know what type of speech. It's like meant to be like a fatherly speech.
Yeah.
And like he's tired up, and he's just like holding on to the wraps. Oh my god.
Well, I mean...
And speaking of Christopher Walken, The Rundown, I got to watch my favorite monologue. Or one of my favorites, the rant about the Tooth Fairy.
Right.
That just, every time, makes me laugh out loud. I can't help it. Like, explain it to them! Okay, and his brother just starts telling him, like, okay, you bitches, you go out and you find them in the jungle. Do they understand the Tooth Fairy? It's cool, I've got this. Okay, so you go into the jungle, and he just ignores trying to actually translate it in any way.
Because it doesn't have any import to what's actually going on with the story, or what fucking Christopher Walken wants to happen.
No, it's just Christopher Walken being insane, which I always enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
I do have to, total non sequitur.
That's been mostly non
Isn't
sequitur.
that what this podcast is called?
I mean, total blatant
departure.
I'll go with total blatant departure. Like, I'll take that as a name. Bulletproof Monk, hands down, best thing in the entire film is the scene of Seann William Scott trying to spill Chow Yun-Fat's Cocoa Puffs. Like,
yeah.
Best scene in the film.
As I said, it's not a great film, but I thought...
In case you were wondering there.
I thought it was a lot of fun, and I think it's one of those things that got made in the wake of, you know, Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights. Like, all we need is a martial artist and a white guy
jackass American comedian
that everybody loves. I mean, I'm surprised we haven't seen fucking Jet Li and Will Ferrell and, you know...
That'd be funny if it was just Will
Bangkok
Ferrell
Baby or whatever the fuck.
Terrible. Just terrible. Tony Jaa and fucking Zach Galifianakis.
Oh, God.
Tony Jaa beats up Zach Galifianakis
For 2 hours.
I would pay to see that at IMAX. Like, in 3D.
Oh my God, Zach Galifianakis' tooth is coming right for me.
I was talking to, who was I talking to yesterday who was like, I used to like Zach Galifianakis until I saw him live, and then he made me very angry. Because he was supposed to do a 30-minute set, he showed up 15 minutes late, he told 2 racist jokes, then he just kind of vamped for a minute and then left. And they were like, that wasn't anything close to a set.
I mean, again, don't meet your heroes, kids.
Yeah, never ever meet your heroes. I'm talking about you, Tim Robbins. You know what you did.
That's a whole nother...
You know what you fucking did.
That's a whole nother podcast.
I know, but it'll be another day.
The one thing that jumping off of that is, I think I would probably be alright with Seann William Scott. He doesn't seem like he'd be somebody who had, like, have airs about himself. And I don't think it would be, on the other hand, like somebody that'd be like so starstruck with, like, oh my God, like it's such a pleasure to meet you. Like I've seen all your films. Like you're such an. I don't think I'd be like, all right, hey, what's up, Sean? You want to grab a beer?
Yeah, like, which especially I
don't have bus money. I'm sorry.
Well, can I like maybe crash on your couch for a couple of nights
every week?
Damn it, Seann William Scott. We've evicted you 3 times, Seann William Scott.
He just won't leave.
And, I don't know. He's an interesting seeming guy. I liked his performance in Goon.
I do too. And like I said earlier, I think it's the biggest departure from the stereotypical, like, Steve Stifler character that he's played in, you know, and fucking Road Trip and countless other movies.
That was like an American Pie movie on the road.
Oh, God.
I watched that so much.
Road Pie. Well, I actually own that film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, again, is it a great film? No, but it's thoroughly enjoyable.
I mean, Breckenmeyer in a lead role, that's not John from Garfield.
What?
Well, I mean, I was going to say seeing Breckenmeyer in the flesh
Yeah.
rather than just as a member
toy,
of Robot
like,
Chicken.
Yeah. Though I did always enjoy the Breckenmeyer doll that they use whenever he actually appears as himself. But no, I'll have to check that out because I do always enjoy getting to see Breckenmeyer. But
well, like I said, I own it whether or not Andrew does. So I mean, anytime you feel like watching Road Trip.
I used to own it.
Did you burn it as a symbol of giving up your past life?
He moved and he had to get rid of.
So I used it as a coaster. So I used it as a hot plate.
A frisbee.
I mean, eventually you run out of American Online free discs. Yeah. It's the reality.
It's true. I saved up 500 or 600 when I was younger, but unfortunately
they're all gone.
Oh, they're all way long
They've
gone.
gone the way of the dodo.
Most of them were smashed in one rather stupid party.
Sounds like a good time, at least.
It was. I mean, not kind of. It was a good party. The guy just picked up the stack of AOL CDs and just started throwing them at people. So
I'm sorry. Is this real?
Yes, this is actually real.
No, this is a drug-induced hallucination.
I was wandering through the woods that day when Tori Spelling appeared and began to throw America Online CDs. I fled. Fled to...
But unfortunately, I could not escape.
She seemed to have
So
supernatural
why doesn't somebody tell me what the plot of The Goon is, just so we can give a...
I'm sorry, okay.
Because we just have a lot of words and actors, and nobody knows what the hell's going on.
Okay.
Especially me, and I'm in the room.
The Goon is a relatively straightforward, like, sports Cinderella film. The main character of which is played by Seann William Scott. He's kind of a fuck up. He's got maybe a 90 IQ. He's very strong and very tough, and he works as a security guard at bars because it's an easy job for him to get. And he's depressed because he doesn't have, the way he puts it early on, is he's like, his friend runs like a public access hockey show. And he's like, you know, everyone has their thing. Like, you have your show, that's your thing. And my dad and my brother, they have their doctor thing. They're doctors. I don't have a thing. I don't have a thing I can do. And gets into a fight at a hockey game, beats the shit out of a hockey player who hops out of the penalty box to try and pick a fight with him, and gets signed to a hockey team by one of the coaches because they're like, yeah, he can take a beating, and he can lay out a beating, and we need someone to beat the shit out of people in hockey games. And so, it's a pretty standard, like, Cinderella story. Oh, this team is fucking up, but we all pull together as a team and realize that we're all a family, and...
this sounds like a parallel universe, if, like, Happy Gilmore was good at hockey.
Kind of. I could see that. Because, I mean, it's also Happy Gilmore's thing. He just sucks dick at... Well, I mean, the thing is, Doug Glatt is not good at hockey. There's just a specific role, and, like...
Happy Gilmore.
No, I know. But the point is that the character that Seann William Scott plays is able to actually make this role a career, per se.
And it's like a thing in hockey is the goon on the team, or the other term is the enforcer, is the guy who essentially protects the more easily damaged players from the other team's aggression. And part of their point is anytime that someone on their team gets hit, they go after the person who hit them and try to injure them. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's a specific position that their entire job is not to actually play hockey. It's to beat the shit out of people.
Wait, is that an actual, like, thing in hockey? Or is it just, like...
Yes. Some places, yes.
Yes.
It's my least favorite part of the game of hockey. There's a lot of ways that you can play the game well and be physical, but having people that are only meant to beat the shit out of somebody is fucking despicable. But it's a common practice that's... Yeah.
And that's what the film is about this guy.
It's very realistic in what it does.
Yeah. Though, all of the weird team interactions were definitely something that I was just like, what the fuck, dog? Just what the fuck? There's this whole through line of these two Russian guys on the team who are continually screwing with the goalie's stuff because the goalie is on a ton of pills and from like the backwater in the middle of nowhere in Canada. The whole film takes place in Canada.
Wait, is this a Kevin Smith film?
No.
Okay.
No, this is not.
It's like...
I don't even know who the fuck directed it. Like, the closest thing to another star in it is Jay Baruchel. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
He was, How to Train Your Dragon, and, you know, the...
He was in that?
He's the lead character.
Yeah, he's
really?
Yeah. He was also, there's also Ray Donovan? No, that's the show
character.
that guy does.
Yes. He has a name too.
Yeah, I don't know the guy's name. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff.
And the chick from Scott Pilgrim, the one who's the drummer in the band, Sexual Bomb.
And
God, that's such a great movie.
Scott Pilgrim, yes.
I need to see Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, you
Scott
do.
Pilgrim.
It's one of those things that, I mean...
Also has Tig from Sons of Anarchy. The character Tig.
Not the
Tig
cat.
From, not my roommate's cat. Not my roommate's cat.
It would make it such a better
as I
film.
love that kitty. No, but the coach of Seann William Scott's team is Tig from
the Halifax
Highlanders.
Yes.
He's Angus. He's official. Yeah. Sometimes I sleep with the Angus dog. It makes sense. It's official.
Seann William Scott, you have no people skills.
Yeah. Well, and it was actually an example of someone somewhat effectively, I mean, I hate to say it, but going full retard.
Yeah.
Like, he does a lot of things in the film that are very much like...
I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I just think that he sucks at interacting with fucking anybody. And that he really tries. But
I mean, they do make the point that he is, like, stupid.
Yes.
For, like, the entire film. He's not a clever man.
Yes.
And I thought he did a decent job of it, which is why I'm saying, like, I'm loath to say that, because it's like he actually did a good job of the role. Playing someone who is actually learning disability, you know, like, which is impressive, honestly, for Seann William Scott.
Yeah, like, and again, why it's such a big departure from, like, everything else that he's done. And I love it when actors get out of their comfort zone.
I agree. It like, as we were discussing earlier, Adam Sandler in Reign Over Me.
Which I have not seen. But definitely the films where Adam Sandler is not strictly Adam Sandler.
Punch Drunk Love.
That was another good example.
Even Spanglish.
But, like, Adam Sandler not being Adam Sandler is always a good thing.
I mean, yes. Again, I need to see more early Sandler to appreciate what was good about
Gosh, I liked him in Happy People, despite the movie having problems.
I don't think I saw Happy People.
Do you mean Happy People or Funny People?
Funny People, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
I like that film as well. You had some issues with it, but
Well, I mean, I'm good up until, like, the last final
the ending
whole Eric
kinda
Bana
sucked.
part.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going nowhere fast. But no, what I like about Funny People is that I feel like it's almost meta in a way that it looks at a comedian similar to Adam Sandler doing even those same stupid shitty movies, like when they're looking through his garage and there's the poster of him as like a mermaid or something.
Right. Well, I mean,
Rob Schneider is a
character.
A stapler.
We all took the staplers. Oh my god. That fucking episode of South Park is just...
Yeah, it's been getting good when they've been, like, lowering the amount of episodes they do. They've been focused on quality.
Really?
Well, there's like 10
Have you
now.
seen this season? And
what are you talking about? You didn't like Safe Space or... Well, I didn't really care for PC, bro.
The only fucking episode that I've, like, really thoroughly enjoyed was the second episode.
Okay.
With Garrison announcing that he's running for president and the whole Canadian... I don't want to get into it too much.
I haven't watched the new season yet.
But, like, this season has literally been my least favorite South Park season so far. obviously you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm sure that there's substance to it, and I'd love to talk about it with you when we're not talking about Seann William Scott.
Now, boys, let's keep this on base here. Remember, we're all on the same team here. We're all playing against Seann William Scott here.
I like Seann William Scott.
Get out. No, I mean, again, I didn't really have an opinion of Seann William Scott other than the rundown.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's harmless. He's not. I mean, he's not.
He's not bringing down America.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
until his next film, Seann William Scott, Bringing Down America.
White House Down, starring Seann William Scott as every role.
Oh, God.
He's just gonna do a fucking Eddie Murphy. Basically, the what was it, Lumps or the Nutty Professor or whatever that he was like every fucking.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
It was Nutty Professor and Nutty Professor Part 2. The Clumps.
Oh God!
I've seen both.
I did not see either. Or no, I mean, I thought he and Arsenio Hall did a great job of doing like 2/3 of the characters in Coming to America. It's still a classic.
I
mean, again, that's where that whole him playing multiple characters started with, you know, the barbershop sequence, and gosh, what happened to Arsenio
Hall? Eddie Murphy stopped doing things, so people stopped paying her. I mean,
his show came back, which is so fucking.
But
cool.
I heard that his show was also shit after. I mean, did you see any of it?
No, I don't have TV.
You have a TV right there. Okay,
it doesn't connect
it's not
to
hooked
anything.
up to anything.
I don't have. There's no fucking antenna. I can't do that shit. I ain't no technical wizard.
You could be.
Shut up!
If you
don't talk about my potential.
It.
Yeah, I just have to put enough skill points into it.
Yeah.
Maybe sew your shirt up too.
I know. I'm sorry.
I feel like you're wearing this weird like 90s.
Yeah, like it's the bare shoulder. You know, I you know find it.
I think it punctuates the slogan on the shirt even more. That rejection builds character with the like torn open shoulder. It just.
Yeah.
You are a spitting image of what I don't know, but you were definitely a spitting image of something.
Somebody's spit on you, I'm sure.
I actually had a new guy at the Vaughn's the other day stop me and just literally go like, "Rejection builds character, huh?" And I was like, yes, I believe it does. And he goes, "Okay." And just kind of rung me up, and I was like, "Damn you! Don't judge my life."
At least he wasn't like, "Are you happy with the choices that you've made in your life?"
Have you tried communism?
Whoa. This just took a dark turn.
I don't know that they selling communism at Vaughn's seems a little off base there.
Your 5-cent communism handbook from fucking Kung Fu Hustle. Which is the other thing that, like, in a lot of ways, Bulletproof Monk was just, like, half American Kung Fu Hustle. Like,
but it predated it by several years because Kung Fu Hustle came out in 2011 or so. I want to say.
Really? I thought it was way earlier.
Bulletproof Monk was like
03.
Yeah, it was in that Seann William Scott golden era of like the early
99 to like 06. Yeah, I was looking at his IMDb and was
except for role models.
That shit dropped off. Yeah, which is 2010.
2007 or 8, I believe.
Okay.
But I fucking loved that film. It was funny because I was hanging out with my buddy Mike and I was showing him Wet Hot American Summer, and he was talking about how like Paul Rudd for him can pretty much do no wrong, and like definitely that was a movie that stars Paul Rudd, written by Paul Rudd. Yes, it has Seann William Scott in it, and they're the two buddies and they play off each other so much. But like it's another example of Paul Rudd doing no wrong, just being on. Well, I mean, he does wrong in the
he does significantly wrong.
But in terms of like being funny, playing a character.
No, that's true.
Well, I mean, yeah, anytime that you abandon a fucking kid at a party to go get laid, that's...
Hey, what'd you get? I'm gonna get this. Though, I mean, I am gonna say that the kid whose name is escaping me right now, I can't remember either of the fucking kids' names in the movie. Though... I mean, the kid was literally like, "Don't stop yourself from getting pussy on my account."
Yeah.
Like, literally says that.
I'm your PIC, your partner in crime.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, I mean, it makes some sense that he was like, "Oh, you're good. You're playing video games. I'm gonna go get laid." Though, again, the ambient
You don't
thing,
tell.
like random like high guy who delivers kegs.
You don't listen, like the people in rehab clinics aren't going to be like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to leave the doors unlocked.
You know what I used to eat for breakfast?
Cocaine.
You know what I used to eat for lunch? Cocaine. Did you eat?
You're standing over there, and you're standing over there, and I don't know which way is up.
Okay.
Lynch.
Great job in that fucking movie.
I'm not here to service you. I'm here to service these young boys.
All right.
I like her introduction when the video ends and she
just walks out of the
line.
line.
It's like,
No, that I enjoyed many elements of that movie, including its wholehearted embracing of LARPing.
Yes. Where everybody is won over at the end with the kiss my Anthea.
Yes. Kiss. Also the Kiss through line, because I just love Kiss. So that was a thing for me that made me happy. Yeah. Just stand up on your pedestal.
I'm not going to stand. You're the one fucking standing up on
it's
pedestal.
It's a stool, damn it. And just because I use it as a soapbox doesn't mean you can judge.
I'm very much in line with Paul Rudd's motto, specifically towards Kiss. Like, I like to rock and roll part of every day.
Yeah. No, it's and party every day. No, but it's only part of every day. Like, I usually have errands to run, like from 1 to 3 p.m., you know.
Like, I can get down with Kiss, but they're a bit ridiculous, and they're not.
Yes. They're
not my Jimmy Jams normally.
I understand.
So, I mean, I can take the spoonful or two in small doses, but yeah, I enjoyed the Kiss through line because there's so much humor directly playing off of it. But if they wouldn't have been intertwined and it just would have been like, yeah, Kiss, I would have been like, fuck you guys.
I mean, I'd have to fight you on that one, but luckily these are all hypotheticals. Yeah, and that
luckily the movie was well done. Out.
Yes.
Oh man, I can't think of another movie except for Detroit Rock City that like focuses on Kiss as much.
There's got to be one. I mean,
it's like a Kiss Save Santa.
Kiss Save Santa. I've always wanted that to be a real movie.
It would be excellent, and I mean, I think
at
if
least
they're
half an hour.
Yeah.
So literally, what it's supposed to be
MacFarlane?
A Christmas special, because Christmas specials are not fucking. I mean, fucking Rudolph's not like 2 hours long.
No, Rudolph's like 48 minutes or 52 minutes.
But I mean,
it's a fucking hour. Yeah.
It's what it needs to be and not more.
No, correct. I definitely agree, though. There's a couple of those songs that can get cut. We Are Santa's Elves, Filling Santa's Shelves is one that immediately fucking pops to mind. Goddamn Rankin and Bass. I'm sorry, I love some Rankin and Bass. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's fine. Have you seen Evolution?
Yes. Oh, I forgot about that. I do like that one. David Duchovny, Seann William Scott, and there's also a third. Who's the woman in that? Do you remember? Anyways, Evolution.
I thought it was the other chick. I thought they were kind of like going off with like, hey, you're Mulder, you're Scully, but I don't remember if that was the case. It's been a while since I've seen Evolution. The last time I saw Evolution
I watched that one a lot.
Was when Patrick was passing out drunk on my couch. And I'm a little bit upset that he doesn't remember
sentences have
any.
How many times have you said that sentence to him?
A number.
Yes.
Higher than 20. So
anyhow, back to Evolution.
But I mean, again, that's kind of the character that he always plays, because he's the bumblefuck, like, you know, working at the fairway or whatever, and then he stumbles across the monster and he brings it into the scientist.
Yeah.
But like, I really love that film, and it's enough different from other characters that it still kind of stands out to me.
For Seann William Scott.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to check this out again because I enjoy seeing people stretch.
I mean, it's kind of like leaning to the left slightly rather than like
An actual
which is
full,
like shake
like,
it out,
deep.
shake it out.
Well, a full deep like squat stretch, lunges.
Would you say that's fair, or has it been a while since you checked out
It's
Evolution?
been a while since I've seen Evolution. I'm just trying to remember what parts, to me, I mean, from what I remember, it was just like Stifler in an alien movie, but I would have to see it again. But no, I mean, as far as Evolution goes, I thought it was, I mean, what Evolution is like a Men in Black movie, but you take out the whole, like, agency part, I feel.
Kind of. It didn't start that way, and the guys that are doing it are definitely bumblefuck. It's more like, we're scientists at this shitty community college. We stumbled onto something, we realized there's a problem, and we're going to fix it, because goddammit, I want the fucking accolades. I want to win me,
Well, I mean, I guess when I say Men in Black, I mean more like the tone it went for is...
Oh, yeah, definitely with, like, the
monsters
later shit
and-
with, like, them, like, hunting shit in the mall scene.
Yeah.
The kind of jokey but still moments of seriousness,
Yeah.
action, sci-fi.
Gosh, I watched that in a science class, a high school science
Yes.
class.
Really?
Yes.
Because nobody knew what to show in a science class. That
Well,
would
you
be
probably got that, and you probably got Gattaca at some point.
I got Gattaca in
Gattaca
an
was
English
fun.
class. I didn't get that in
Interesting.
science
Really?
class, yeah.
I got Gattaca in the biology class when she ran out
What?
of like crazy weird documentaries to show us.
What was the reasoning behind having Gattaca in an English class? I have to ask.
Again, I don't know. It doesn't. I mean,
Okay,
we
so
were
if
probably
you could make
reading
a
like
case there.
some type of Brave New World, Bradbury Asimov, something or other, and
Someone wrote something at some point in
That
time.
was somewhat like this.
and I'm,
Technically, that was Aldous Huxley who world, but
Aldous Huxtable, as
Aldous,
the man in
terrible.
Garden State says. No, yeah. I don't know why. My teacher felt that Gattaca. I mean, it may have just been something that had a slight relevance to what we were reading at the time. And again, that's how most choices are made, because it's like, well, that has some slight relevance. I
can put on this
grade these
movie,
papers and
and
have these shut up.
Yeah.
and the kids will fucking zone out. Or if they get something from it, great. If not, then fuck it.
Gattaca does have like weird specific literature references, and like there's all of the Christ imagery through line where like if you look at the symbol that's actually on his like card, his symbol is a cross, and there's like lines throughout where it's like, oh yeah, it was a faith birth. Oh,
Yeah.
you're a godchild, and it's like this whole like weird through line of him like transcending his humanhood to go to space. But don't get me wrong, I actually really fucking liked Gattaca.
That was my introduction to Ethan Hawke.
I think it
Same.
was most people's.
Ethan Hawke and Jude Law, and who else was in Gattaca?
Uma Thurman.
Wasn't my introduction to Uma Thurman?
Wasn't mine.
Because Pulp Fiction, I'd seen Pulp Fiction already.
Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah. You have three amazingly talented actors who went to go have, I mean, even now, a career.
Yeah.
Not like Seann William Scott.
Hey, there's that Goon sequel that's
It's
coming
coming
out.
out. Yeah.
I think
and-
it's either next year or...
Yeah, I think it's slated,
next year,
it's slated for next
2016.
year.
Which
It's
I don't
in
know what the fuck
post-production
they're
right
gonna do
now.
with that, but like I'm interested in because I did genuinely like the movie Goon.
Yeah.
And
The
I'm
Last
so
Enforcer.
well, yeah, the title of the sequel. Way to plug Joe Schmo Films there, Patrick.
Yeah.
Because I mean it's gotten more acclaim and probably more of a budget after the first Goon was successful, but
Is that what it's called?
Huh?
Is that what it's called?
It's called Goon, the Last Enforcer.
Or The Last of the Enforcer. Something along that
Yeah.
line.
I thought you were talking about the Highlander sequel. What?
Endgame, Highlander 2, The Quickening, Highlander 3, Endgame.
Yeah, no,
Highlander
that's
4,
what Goon
this
is truly. It's just another
Joke.
sequel to the Highlander films.
Secretly, he is a Highlander. And so he takes the fucking hockey puck at 45 miles an hour to the mouth. And then gets stomped on the ankle and is somehow cool.
Well, I mean, he's kind of not.
Well, but I mean, he walks around on that ankle with no limp for like a week in the film after the guy straight stomps his ankle with an ice skate. And I was like, okay, that's not realistic. But again, that's me and my obsession with realism.
I definitely could and should have been some fallout from that. But
yes. But hit points, see, it just weakened his ankle. He took the ankle damage later.
And the other thing, too, is, I mean, they're so goddamn well wrapped and padded that, like, you're not going to do damage to that even with a sharpened ice skate. I mean,
200-pound man stomping on your ankle with a sharpened ice skate.
It's another one of those cases of the unstoppable force versus the immovable object.
The immovable object that Seann William Scott's face. There's literally a thing early on where a guy tries to punch him in the face, and like the first thing that happens is the guy breaks his hand and goes down, like punching him in the dome. Well, he's kind of like, "Why are you being mean?" It's Goon is actually fun.
He doesn't quite have the whole data. Stop.
I mean, no one has ever matched that.
That would have been the icing on the cake, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. Stop spitting at each other. I hate spit. I hate spit. Oh! Just goes down with the spit all over it.
Anyways, I think our Seann William Scott adventure has come to an end. Thank you.
No. It lasts another 60 years.
Okay, fine.
Seann William Scott is the knight protecting our world. Which brings it back to the beginning, which I thought was funny, is that we were like, it's Sir Seann William Scott, because he is a knight in all of our hearts.
See, I presume that you were speaking Batman, that he was going to take over Ben Affleck as the next in a long line of Batman protagonists.
Well, no, there's actually a line in Bulletproof Monk where they're like, "You are our knight."
It's been a while since I've seen Bulletproof Monk. I'm not going to lie, but
it's been a while since I've heard somebody quote Bulletproof Monk.
Yes. Even I mean, there's.
He must fight.
There's probably like 5 people that I know that have seen Bulletproof Monk, and 2 of them are here. So.
Limited pool.
It's an exclusive club.
Yeah.
Anyways, so to bring this episode of TBD to a close, thanks for being here with us. As always, I'm Etienne Thibault.
I'm Patrick Humphrey.
And I'm Andrew.
And
ASMR Andrew doesn't even have a last name.
And as always, this is the Two Big Dudes podcast, which Andrew still qualifies for because even though he is not wide, he is very tall. A veritable Latin Adonis. And on that note, good night, America.
Oh, hell no! I ain't getting out of bed today.